like to say this now before I even start the video. If I do not offend you in this video, I will get to you shortly. That is a joke. So if you guys keep up with XQC, Adin Ross, Trainwrecks, you know, that bunch of bananas, they were on this little, I guess, like just chill talk session, and they were going on to a bunch of different topics, just kind of like leapfrogging from each lily pad like a bunch of fat toads, some of them sinking. They got to the topic of like gender identity and all that, in which I'm going to say this now, I'm not so well versed in, but my take will make sense in the end, right? So it starts off with Adin Ross and XQC kind of duking it out, and Trainwrecks there is just horking down popcorn because he's enjoying the show that's going on, right? It's fucking hilarious.
It's fucking insane.
I only care about kids, bro. Leave the kids. He left. I only care about leaving the kids out of it, bro. I just got mad about the Target shit, and I get mad about, you know, like having puberty blockers for kids. That's all I get mad about.
That doesn't happen though. It's like
it does. It does. Some parents allow it.
I said it. Yeah, I said it. Give me statistics. I said, give me examples. Give me articles. You have given me nothing.
I'll tell you what. Because I'm not informed. I don't really spend all my time doing this.
Just give me one.
I'll find some. If I really take time to Google it, I can. I saw a number saying 17,000, but I want to look into it before I really use it as evidence.
So you're pushing a narrative with absolutely nothing, no backing, no knowledge, no statistics, and no examples.
But XQC, if you don't think there's ever been a minor that's taken puberty blockers, it's
okay. And you were mad about the tattoos earlier. And how many minors get tattoos?
I don't agree with that though. I think minors should just fish not drink it. Any type of tattoos, any permanent. You don't seem to be very vocal about that though. I just said that I don't.
Like, you can see he's trying to like, oh yeah, and like he's like just there like trying to act like super analytical. Both sides have lost, and both sides are wrong. I'll easily explain why, right? I agree with XQC in some semblance that it's just like that usually never will happen in the regular degree. But what Adin is trying to say is just keep kids out of it, which I can actually understand extremely. They both have a point. One, XQC is basically trying to say that never really happens on a day-to-day basis, which is true for the most part. There obviously are instances of that, and that's where maybe that's where it gets a little hairy. Again, I don't know much about this. I'm just going off what I've looked up, what I've found, and going off really off the video. I'm a review Andy. Both of them are wrong. You know why? Because they decided to take into this conversation. What do I mean by that? By touching this conversation, you lose. Like, there's nothing you could do. Not only one, are people going to try to take it out of context, people are going to try to twist you both to be bad people within their own personal mindset. There is no reason for streamers to be touching such controversial and political topics, because it only can either lead to a boost of a certain type of demographic, and I'm not trying to like allude to anything. It's either a boost in a certain type of demographic which can benefit you, or a absolute tank in a certain type of demographic that now hates you for what you have. Your take on that? I've kind of been able to more or less like confirm that to myself. Maybe it's confirmation bias, but like I've been seeing a lot of people, mainly who are of LGBTQ, posting about that clip and being like, maybe we were too hard on XQC, or is this the redemption arc of XQC? So it's exactly what I mean. Now maybe a lot more people who are part of the LGBTQ will start to favor him more. Mainly that, I think the topic was like mainly like transgender shit. I'm pretty sure that's what it was getting at. It goes on after that where Adin has something to say about it, and here's what it was.
I love XQC and I love Trainwrecks, but I'm sorry, I can't do it, bro. I can't fucking do it. I'm sorry. I can't fucking do it. You know, I don't even want you guys to just even talk about who won that fucking debate. There's no point. It's just going in a circle. I just don't give a fuck, guys. Look, I'll put my camera on fucking loud HD, and even some people in my chat are not gonna fuck with it. If you want to be gay, if you want to be a trans, go do it in your spare time. You know what? Be happy. You only have one fucking life. Live it for you. Who gives a fuck what anyone thinks? Just leave the kids out of gay agendas, all sorts of different agendas, everything. I don't care. Just leave the kids out of it. You know what I mean? Because the last thing I want is me to have a child one day. My child comes home from school and I have to explain to him about something that a teacher or they'll see in a store that they might be out with their friends or something like that. I want to be able to speak to my kids when I'm a father, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do as well. So it's the same thing with the Nick Merckx thing, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna join the call.
I agree with Adin. I understand what he's trying to say, but here's the thing: you've lost. And there's a reason. I'm not trying to say because, oh, well, you're the one that lost the conversation, or he is. No. I mean in the sense that both of them lost, because he touched this conversation, and you know what's going to happen, and you know what has been happening. Be like, oh, you say leave the kids out of it, but you've made your career off a lot of children and teenagers, which realistically is true for majority of content creators. Of course, adults can consume content, but they're adults. They do adult things. Mainly kids and children are the one consuming your content. So then it'll sound very hypocritical from him saying, oh, just leave the kids out of it, when you quite literally built your reputation, your career off of children and teens watching you, and then that scales up so you can get business deals, and then that kind of sells you from there. And a lot of people who have free time are children, teenagers. My whole take on this thing, what I'm trying to say, I think I'm like dodging every question, or like I'm mainly like tiptoeing around my take on this. It's not really a take. I feel like it just makes sense. No reason for streamers to go on such controversial topics, because we're just streamers. We're not politicians. We're not spokespeople. Some of them maybe. I don't know. Only a very rare case where that makes sense, and it's people like maybe Hassan Abi, but even then, not really, because it's like, I understand Hassan Abi as a content creator makes sense. A content creator that people like, that's kind of funny. He does gaming, and he also does political coverage for, I think he's a left-leaning person. Like, I guess he's just politically left-leaning, and that's just me saying what it is. I'm not like, he's one of them damn liberal. That helps him, because it's like, okay, people who are also left-leaning will side with him and be able to relate to him, and now they actually find themselves being part of this community because they agree with his political takes or political views and the way he views everything else in the world. It doesn't only just affect how you view politics, it can affect the way you view everything, which is why that can maybe explain why he's actually a pretty decently strong streamer on Twitch. That the thing is now he inherently will have people who hate him who are right-leaning. Does that make sense? So like, because he's a left-leaning streamer and has people who favor him for being left-leaning, he will equally have people who hate him for being right-leaning. I guess there is a scene for content creators to do like political or controversial topics. It creates a dicey scenario where if you say one wrong thing, you lose everything you've probably built, because you were built on controversial topics. In this case, I think it's just better to stray away from shit like that and maybe just do cool shit. Content people wouldn't necessarily think they'd enjoy, but then they do. Like, I've wanted to do this for the longest time as either a side channel or a main channel, or like part on this channel, just baking. Like, testing out baking recipes and making baking recipes, or like taking baking recipes from chat, or like my chat. When I say chat, I mean like because I stream, or like the comment sections and all that. Like, that actually sounds really fun to me, and I know there's a bunch of people who do that kind of stuff, but I've had my own twist on it that make it enjoyable, and I think it'd be cool. I think content creation has gone from like be a really cool chill gamer to possibly offend hundreds of thousands of people just to prove a point on the topic. But then again, that's also, I'm kind of explaining that wrong, so please forgive me there. I just think it'd be cool. It's just like, just be creative with content. I don't think you would necessarily need to go to create like controversial topics like that. I can understand talking about it as a glancing thing, because I talk about this kind of stuff on stream too, but it's never in the case where I'm just like, this is wrong, this is right. It's just more so like, what is it, it's just a matter of, don't push your ideas onto someone else. Simple as that. It's really weird that seeing content creators go into that kind of stuff, because it always ends up poorly. You can't tell me once when there's been a good outcome from one of these kind of situations, because there hasn't been. And if they have, it's probably a small streamer. I'm being serious. But yeah, I don't know. That's just if you're gonna do content creation, stray away from politics, controversial topics. It'll save you a world of headache, and honestly, nobody really enjoys it. It's just everybody's heated about it. I just want to talk about that. Deuces.